One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. Sorry, let's just start the show.
Black and blue, I crawled along the wreckage of what now is gone. Back to you to fight another day. I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on. Black and blue, I crawl to you.
What is going on, guys? This is Nate the Effing Great, of course, here with the Squirt Circle Podcast Evolution Production. And this is indeed Squared Circle Weekly Recap, where I take everything that has happened this week and I cram it all into one show because I am one crazy and very... Right now, I'm also a very lonely guy because I thought that I was going to have my co-host Spencer and Max on the show. No dice. So, of course, this is indeed Squared Circle Podcast, of course, on Spreaker.com, iTunes, Player.fm, PodDirectory.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, IW Nerd, Satchel Podcast Player, and Mr. NTG1990 on YouTube. Am I going to change the name? Probably not. So, I just don't care. Anyway, so, got a lot to cover here on the show. Monday Night Raw, Tuesday Night SmackDown Live, as well as the Lucha Underground episode that happened not too long ago, and NXT, where we have a little bit more updated brackets for the Dusty Rhodes Classic Memorial Tournament. Let's just get right into it. Start off with Monday Night Raw, kicked off with the, you might as well call it the Raw is Jericho show, because this was mainly what the show was about. It was about Jericho, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, really just hyping up Hell in the Cell in possibly the best way, in all honesty. I can't think of any other way that they could possibly have done it. And they did a great job of it. Jericho and Kevin Owens kick off the show with a weekly promo. We also go into a matchup between Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho, in which Jericho actually lost thanks to Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho actually told Kevin Owens, hey, I don't want you in this matchup. I don't want you to get involved. And he almost calls him a stupid idiot, but Kevin Owens stops him, and he says, hey, this is what Seth Rollins wants. This is what he does not need that from us, so we need to be on the same page. Blah, 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 yeah. And then they also announced a triple threat match, non-title, between Jericho, Owens, and Seth Rollins for next week's show. It is actually going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. I think that this is going to be the perfect way to build it up, and this could also be a great way to experiment the possibility of a Hell in the Cell matchup at the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view coming up very soon, in all honesty. We go into, I gotta get my notes here, because that's the only way I can keep track of everything that happened here. Jeez Louise. I honestly am surprised that, yeah. Two great promos that happened here. Lita interviewed Charlotte as well as Sasha Banks, both of them giving their thoughts on Hell in the Cell. Charlotte really cutting a very good promo, really emphasizing that she is 12-0 in the last few pay-per-views. I mean, a year-long undefeated streak when it comes to pay-per-view events. That's saying a lot. But Sasha was basically saying, hey, I am ready for the fight. I'm ready for the challenge. So Hell in the Cell is definitely going to be a history-making night, and it is going to be probably the night that Raw really gets the advantage over SmackDown. We get a 6-man tag team matchup in which we see Golden Truth and Mark Henry beat Titus O'Neil and the Shining Stars. Moving along. we go into, actually during the Jericho and Kevin Owens argument, Stephanie McMahon comes out and says that, hey, I want you two to be on your, I want you to be a cohesive unit because I am indeed accepting Shane McMahon's SmackDown challenge for Survivor Series. So that matchup is indeed going to go down. They have a 5-on-5 male matchup, a 5-on-5 women's matchup, and a 5-on-5 tag team matchup. Not sure how they're going to do the 5-on-5 tag team matchup. That's going to be a very tough thing. Unless they do it like a gauntlet style, I don't see it working in any other way, really. We get into a matchup in which we see Big E taking on Sheamus, but during the matchup, Cesaro decided to go on Facebook Live and comment on his partner's matchup, but it eventually cost Sheamus the matchup, and now they also have set up a non-title matchup between the New Day and Sheamus and Cesaro. Why they decide to give their pay-per-view matches away for free is beyond me. Maybe they're going back to a 90s ordeal where they just say, hey, let's just see how well this works out, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, then, well, at least we tried. I don't know. It's just weird. From there, let me see here. See if we can actually continue this. We see Bo Dallas defeating Neville and then beating down Curtis Axel afterwards. Bo is really starting to get on his own as a singles competitor. That's nice to see. Dana Brooke beats Bayley. This is very interesting because Bayley took a very, very hard shot to the second turnbuckle, and it looked like she hurt her back pretty bad. In fact, they even showed a video of her needing help backstage. Is this a work or is this real? I don't know, and I'm honestly a bit scared because Bayley is one of those people that they definitely need to put on the show, and she is definitely one of those main people that kids really love, especially. And I'll tell you why I said that in just a bit. Paul Heyman cuts a promo saying that Goldberg should not accept the matchup against Brock Lesnar, and just basically talking about how Brock Lesnar, he wants this matchup, but for your own safety, don't accept the matchup. Great. Braun Strowman beats three guys. I'm not even going to mention what the team was. It just does not make any sense to me. But Sami Zayn came out, and Braun Strowman wanted stiffer competition. You're not going to find any better competition than Sami Zayn, although unfortunately with the way that Raw has been treating him, it's going to be hard to really push that behind him. Strowman actually shoved Sami Zayn down. Sami Zayn was actually looking a bit intimidated as Braun Strowman left, so they're going in that direction. It's going to be interesting. We go into the Lana Rusev promo. Okay, I understand that my co-host Max Beatty is one of those guys who says that, why are people booing these two because they're married, because they're happy, because blah, 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 blah. No, they're doing it because they're rubbing it in our faces that it's like, oh, we're a happy couple, we're like this. And they even mentioned that they're like, oh, our families are better than, all of your, poor, needful, dreadful families. So this is one of those things where it's like, okay, this is one of those points where people can boo like crazy for these two because they're pushing their luck right now. So Roman Reigns comes out and talks about, Rusev just basically dialing 911 after Hell in the Cell, or in the Hell in the Cell matchup. Lana slaps him, Rusev beats him down and use the accolade on the steel steps, really looking strong as a heel. I loved it. Big Cass defeats Carl Anderson. I think that they're going to set up Enzo and Cass against the Club at the next event, which would be interesting considering both of these guys have been on losing streaks. Somebody's going to come out a winner. Let's see if it's somebody that we care about. They gave basically a main event matchup spot to the Cruiserweights, in which we saw Brian Kendrick, Drew Gulak, and Tony Nese taking on Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, and TJ Perkins. Brian Kendrick locked in the captain's hook on Swann to pick up the victory. I love what they're doing here, and I also love the fact that they're making Gulak and Nese a team. I think that they could definitely go pretty far. I think the technical style of Gulak and the high-flying style of Nice is very, very cool. So, looking forward to seeing how well these guys do. We go into a Foley, Stephanie McMahon segment in which they do a weird thing where they're just like happy with each other. It's like, oh yeah, we're making decisions, yay. And then do like awkward high fives, and it was just, that was just horrible. Then we go on to what I think was the greatest thing that could have happened to Raw, and that was the return of Goldberg. Yep, Bill Goldberg makes his return. He used the original WCW theme, which I love, in all honesty. I think that it's the best theme for him. I love how he just comes through the back area, and there's all these superstars. They're clapping for him. They're cheering for him. It's almost like a hero's homecoming, where they're saying, it's great to see you back. Awesome, we missed you. And Goldberg actually got a little bit emotional during his promo. He talked about missing wrestling, how he wanted to be like a superhero for the kids. Loved this promo. I thought it was just amazing. Then he turns his attention to Brock Lesnar, and he says, as far as your challenge goes, I accept. But just know that you're not only going to be next, you're going to be last. And in all honesty, you guys, that is a way to build up a promo. Brock Lesnar will return on Monday Night Raw in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to address Bill Goldberg. This was a great show by Monday Night Raw. I loved every single minute of it. Great. SmackDown. We get into a Randy Orton promo where he talks about, everybody's going crazy, and Bray Wyatt does this basic Undertaker deal where he has druids with black sheep masks, and Bray Wyatt ends his promo with saying, he's here. And out comes Luke Harper. Luke Harper versus Randy Orton. If you would have told me years ago that I would be looking forward to this matchup, I would have said that I would have asked what kind of drugs you were on. This was a good matchup. During the matchup, the Druids came out with Bray Wyatt. He was still in the casket. I don't know if they're building up a casket match between Orton and Bray. I think it might be interesting to see that, but it's, I don't know. I'm still a little hesitant right now. So we go from that matchup between Luke Harper and Randy Orton ends in a no contest when Bray Wyatt gets involved. And they decide to beat down on Randy Orton. They're about to send him into a casket when magically Kane appears. And then Kane helps beat them down. It looks like they're going to go for an RKO and a chokeslam, but then Wyatt and Harper disappear. Kind of a cool spot. I guess they're going to make a tag team with Kane and Randy Orton. Go figure. They get into an AJ Styles promo in which he's basically paranoid, saying that Dean Ambrose could cost him the title, and this could be a big upset, but it could also be an embarrassment for him, and just really showing that he is very intimidated, not by Dean Ambrose, but the fact that Dean Ambrose might cost him the title. We go from that to a No Mercy rematch between Bliss and Alexa Bliss, she's Louise, and Naomi. Alexa Bliss getting the victory with the Sparkle Splash, I believe that's what it's called. Or you can call it the Bliss Assault, you can call it whatever you want. It was a good matchup. It was better than their No Mercy matchup. It was pretty damn good, and it makes Alexa Bliss look amazing. And plus she tuned into her Freddy Krueger, so it was kind of really cool to see that. We go to what I thought was going to be the final in-ring debut of Kurt Hawkins, but Apollo Crews pushed him, and he says, no, I'm not going to debut tonight. He just basically storms away like a little 5-year-old. And our good friend Brian Zane at Wrestling with Regret really made a good point when he said that this is like Eva Marie 2.0, because it's like you're delaying the inevitable. And it's just pointless, because we've already went through that with Eva Marie, and now we're doing it again with Kurt Hawkins. It's not working like that. It's not good. It just doesn't make any sense. We see a promo with Carmella where she just drops a major promo on Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella, of course, talking about her being, somebody who's scratching and clawing and basically earning her way back where she is.